Zach, what's up?
Steve, it's going,
That's,
pal.
Zach's used to this big old bear down. Zach's here, blah, 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 blah. We ain't doing that no more. Not right now.
No, this is getting Steve back into the studio. We gotta ease you back in.
What's this? Bear down after dark? We could call it like that. Bear down after dark.
Down after dark. Careful now how you use that. you gotta phrase that.
What? Bear down after midnight? I don't know. Something like that.
Oh no, I'm just if you know, you know. I tease, but
because my new logo was very dark, so that's what gave me the idea. You could see it. It's
not pretty sweet though. Look at you using that image of yourself being a badass on the sideline.
Nah, so it's just. And I had to update it. It's the podcast is kind of steering towards still sports, but it's kind of gearing towards whatever.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because that's kind of what I'm going through with the show I'm usually on. Is we just transitioned to football and some other stuff we like as well. So
I saw that it went from was it USFL and now what is it now?
Well, yeah, it was UFL this past year, and then we just thought about it, and now we're doing it's called the short version is called BCPC, but it's called Boys Club Podcast for what the acronym stands for. So, what do the boys like? Like gaming. We like tech. We like talking about football. We like talking about Fish Tank Reality Television, which if you ever check that out, Steve, it is a wild trip.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. If you ever do, I forewarn you, it is not for the weak, but it's a wild ride.
Well, my algorithm on X is like all over the place, and nothing bad. It's just it's not showing me my normal. I don't even know, and so I used to see your guys' stuff all the time, and I try to support it. And I didn't see it for a while. And all of a sudden, I saw it. I saw something about that show, and you guys were like on it. It showed like a picture.
Oh yeah, we bought like a $10 ad to put on their ad board. They have an HD TV in the middle of the house that they're all in, and so you can buy ad space and like run an ad. And we had the setup was a ranking because the whole concept is basically it's like Big Brother, where the last person that stays in the house gets $50,000 at the end of like a month and change.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a live stream, $10 ad, advertise BCPC, baby. I actually need to get a hold of the ref here and ask if we're going to do that again, because I thought we were going to run another ad, but we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. We actually need to. The only reason it's thrown off, and it's funny you mentioned the algorithm and stuff, because I think based on what I understand of the algorithm, for like us, we're getting penalized because it's probably the username and content's changed so much that it's like, wait, what's happening? You're not really talking football now. And it's like, and I'm like, we just got to rebuild that. And you know how it is with tech. Now it's just got to start reading that we're not always talking football. It's
right.
The thing,
That's what kind of hurting me is I'm not saying this podcast ever would have grown big, but I watch other people and I'm like, I'm doing the same thing. This is BS. Like, why is it not growing? And I was like, well, Steve, because you talk about Bears, talk about Illinois football, you talk about things with college football coaches, you have other episodes that are BS, the algorithm can't figure out what you're doing. And I don't know. I thought about tearing it down, rebuilding it back up, but that's just too much work,
Yeah. And it's funny we talk about this because I've been telling people more this UFO off season and like kind of thinking about what I want to do for more podcasting, if I want to keep doing that or not. And then my thing I come back to is like, look, if it's fun, then I'm still gonna keep doing it because credit, it'd be great to be able to be like make some monetary stuff on something like this or whatnot, but that's just not hyper realistic. So what's the thing that we focus on before that always. It's about the fun and the value of time with that said fun, you know? And so, that's why I retool it, because it's like you can only talk so much UFL before it gets repetitive, or you get tired seeing the thing refresh itself every 1 or 2 years. You
Mhm.
know, that's basically what it led to. Is I was just like, and I'm not trying to make this a show about talking about the podcast I'm doing in the podcast, the Inception podcast theory or whatever the hell you want to call this, but uh, it's just like you can only talk so much and see the same thing happen again and again, to where you're just like, all right, there's got to be something new, right? Like let's look for some other stuff we can do, because I can talk UFL, but like I've seen the new jerseys, I've seen the changes in team locations and blah 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 blah. New first league rehash, week one ratings are okay, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right, and
you only do that so much before I'm like, all right, this is getting a little repetitive, guys. Like maybe let's do something else or
well,
something like
that's
that.
why, like, I super enjoy the Bears stuff we did, but it's with our schedules and it's basically me. It's hard to do what those other guys are doing, right? That they
Yeah.
have a
Well,
they have a financial backing of, like, this, and then and how they keep it fresh is they get players on, they get this, they get that, and that's the only way you can compete, and,
right.
like
Well, and I'll be honest with you. I felt like I kind of self-destructed that a little bit last year, because how I was in the text and all that. My relationship with like sports fandom is very in the weeds right now. Especially I was with the Bears last year, and so I feel like I kind of betrayed you a little bit and left you hanging there on some of those shows.
no,
So,
because it's your work schedule and then it's my schedule. And the only way that stuff kind of works is if, like, you do a pregame show the day of, and then as soon as the game's over, talk about it again. And
mhm.
that's just super hard because, like, you, for example, if you want to go to a bar and watch the game, you're not going to do a pregame podcast. You want to go and enjoy it and have life,
Oh
right?
yeah. Mhm.
And I'm not going to be a person that's going to be like, no, you have to do this. And it's like, no, wait a minute, and I'm not that person. So it was never, and then it's never right after the game. It's like, I'd rather decompress on the game and then
Right.
discuss
You don't want to go and be high on emotions on it right after the
it.
fact. And it's kind of hard to do, and I feel like that's kind of like a lot of what like sports podcasting is, or like the like live shows I've noticed since we've been doing this more. A lot of it is based on like trying to react right after the fact and like get the high of the emotions. And then like if you want to like focus on the stuff midway through the week, you do it then. But like that's why you get like all the people who are like, you have these call lines, or you want to like talk about the stuff with like the chat, because like the chat's always going to be after a game, either like super stoked for a win or completely bottomed out from a loss, so you get like the most purest raw emotion from those fans that are like
Mhm.
always engaged. And then that's what a lot of podcast shows are too, is they just lean into that super hard, which like you either have to be fully committed to doing that, or you just don't do it. And like there's no real in between. That's kind of hard to do. So like for us, like absolutely, that's kind of hard to do, where like you're decompressed a bit, because like it takes away a bit of that like rawness to it, you know?
Right.
But I also don't want to be unfair and being like react in the moment and then later go, yeah, that was kind of stupid to say that, because like thinking about it for a split second more type of thing. You know what I mean?
Right. I think it also is like, I think it depends on what game it is. If it's the Bears lose to a really good team, well, your reaction is, oh, they're a really good team. So
Mm-hmm.
what's your reaction? The Bears lose to uh, the Raiders, a really bad team, then your emotions are completely different. Or if you lose to the Packers, it used to be like we're so mad. Now it's we always lose to the Packers. What's the reaction you're looking for here? We just
Right.
always do.
Well, I mean, shoot, last year, and I mean, last year we got 2 wins on the Packers, which is like, you know what? That's pretty freaking sweet to say. I
I also
mean,
think it's because we're waiting for the other shoe to drop the whole season of like when is this going to end?
right.
Which it never really did until the end there. But like you can't be mad at the season that they had. So
Well, and
it was just kind
even
of
then, the season ended, and only ended in this way because we had what was completely nuts touchdown pass of sorts to even get to overtime. And like, credit, it was super deflating watching what was going to be probably a scoring drive turn into an interception that then KO'd the Bears' chances of winning at home. But I mean, still, like, the fact it was like, at least it was like a magical moment to keep the like comebacky nature alive, run down only by a little bit better talent on the other
Mhm.
side, you know?
Yeah, it's just stuff like that, and so, like, I don't listen to any of them anymore, like, the CHGO stuff that used to pop up everywhere, that's changed, I never see it anymore.
Yeah, I have like,
Um,
I actually, my algorithm at this point, I've got like nothing Chicago sports pretty much. Maybe
if any
like the Bulls come up once in a while. Bears stuff is very infrequent, but like I've tuned out a lot of it because like a lot of it's so much more just trying to get a click. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go read articles and like keep up with like the facts on like what the team's doing, like moving and shaking wise, especially with like free agency and the draft coming up. Like, I just want to know what the team's gonna look like going into camp. That's really all I give about a crap about right now. You know?
yeah, I don't really even see the Bears Twitter anymore, like, the hatred or the back and forth, I don't see it anymore, which I think is nice, it's refreshing. My algorithm's just been now Final Four, Illinois stuff,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Oh
that type
yeah,
of stuff.
that's got to be exciting coming up this weekend, right?
Saturday, I think.
Yeah,
Saturday.
freaking Illini getting in the Final Four.
First time
Gotta
since
love it.
2005, baby. Here we go.
Gotta love it.
Uh, but that's what I was talking about in the other one we were talking about. It's funny to watch fans like NFL and stuff. I think you call for head coaches being fired quicker in those, but like in college, it's always funny to see fans like want coaches fired because I always think about where was your program before that head coach came along, and so you have to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
So like Brad Underwood's the head basketball coach at U of I, and if people don't know, Illinois sports has always, always, always been a freaking roller coaster, right? And it's always been more
Yeah.
down than it's been up, right? Like football, we all remember 2007 beating Ohio State number 1 seed. We get to the Rose Bowl, we get whipped by USC, but you know what? We got there. We had a magical season. We thought we were going to be back. It took a couple years to get back to a bowl game. Nathan Shieldhouse ended up being the quarterback, and like we had a couple decent seasons. Then it goes back down. Lovie Smith comes in, it stays there, like that type of stuff. Illinois basketball, 90s, mid 2000s, beginning of 2000s were decent. We go to the Final Four in 2005. We thought we were going to get back the next year. We don't get back to the Final Four. We have a couple decent seasons, and Bruce Weber's tenure starts to fizzle. Then we go through a bunch of different head coaches. We're kind of at the bottom. Brad Underwood comes in like 2017, has a couple years trying to rebuild the thing. 2020 starts to figure it out, and they were picked to be a top basketball team. Iota Sumu on the team, stuff like that. COVID hits, we don't get the opportunity, stuff like that. Um, and then ever since then, we've made gone into March, whether it was first or second round. Um, we've always flirted with Elite Eight and Sweet 16. And I remember during those times, even before this year, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, fans wanted him fired, like all over X, fire him. Like during the season, like,
Right.
and I always said to these people on here, do you not remember where Illinois was before he got here? Like, what makes us so high and mighty that we just say fire him? Because then my question was, who do you hire? Like, who do you go after that? With a guy that's getting you to March Madness and getting you to that round of 32 and stuff like that. Like, we're not Duke where everything is like if you don't win now. Um, so it's funny now I'm watching all the same people. We made it to the Final Four celebrating Brad Underwood. He's
Of
an
course.
underrated coach and this and that. And I comment, I'm like, didn't you want him fired? I got blocked by a couple people. I'm like, didn't you want him fired like 3 years ago? And I either get blocked or they argue with me. And I'm like,
That, that that is one of the cruxes with social media, man, is you get like people that the way it works is either you ignore what you said in the past, at least how I've noticed it. I don't say I know everything, but like the more you and I have been on, you probably noticed this too. Like either ignore what you said and you just deny because that's all you can. I mean, at that point, you just have to because you're trying to keep face, or you admit to it and you just got to play careful how much you often admit to your mistakes on there. So it's like it's a weird game to play,
Yeah,
but like that's just how you got to do it. Sadly, and that stinks to me because like like I don't know, like I see that stuff and it's like, well, I agree because it's like, wait, you wanted this? I mean, look, it's funny, hindsight's 2020, but also like, hey, at least acknowledge like you did want this guy originally fired at one point, or you used to bang a drum. Like at least admit like some mistake here on that notion or
yeah.
something like that.
I saw one person that like covers Illinois that said I was a guy that called for Brad Underwood. Look what he's done. I was like, I'll eat crow, and like I'll hop. He has like a podcast. He goes, I'll hop on, admit everything I said, how I was wrong, and I blah blah blah. I saw one. So I
Hmm.
said to him, I was like, I respect that, right? Like I respect that you admitted that. But the others, it they just bask in this, and I'm like, you wanted him fired, and you kept saying if like blah 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 blah. Now they're in the Final Four. Like,
Yeah.
what else does he have to do? And and again, we have to remember what program we are. We're Illinois, right? Josh Whitman, the athletic director, came in and said, I need to change all of these sports, right? So he
Hmm.
tries Lovie Smith, but he hires Brett Underwood. He hires Shauna Green, who's the girls basketball coach. They're now making it into like almost Sweet 16 status for women's basketball. Baseball was competitive. Softball's like he's trying all this stuff. And it takes a lot of time, especially when you're University of Illinois, right? That's why, like at Alabama, there's a lot of pressure because Nick Saban left you that pressure, like of
Hmm.
from 2007, 8 when he got there until he retired. Like there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of pressure. Illinois, there isn't until they build it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And honestly, I mean, I kind of think about like how you don't know you have a good thing till it's gone. And so like that's where I agree with like going back to like if you were to let go like of an Underwood and you're having the best success you had in a while. And I know there's always that temptation. What if we find the guy that can get that next step or something like that? And that's just not always the case, you know. I know I'm like losing a little bit on the college basketball front of this, but like I don't know. I think basketball. I think immediately to that set up with like when the Bulls let go of Thibs back now over a decade ago,
Oh God.
and how that's just been, I would say, a roller coaster of mediocrity ever since. There's been no stability, and now they've just landed on just accepting that Billy Donovan is just a guide to get tickets for Jerry Reinsdorf, and that's barely doing anything right now.
Well,
You
that's
know,
Chicago sports. Getting rid of Lovey Smith, going 10-6, get rid of Lovey
yeah.
Smith. Someone else has to come do it, and then the Bears suck. They are terrible. You have that little diamond in the rough in 2018.
Freaking the Blackhawks too, Quinneville, like them letting him go. Like look what the Blackhawks have been since. They've been just again back to the dumpster like they used to be.
Getting rid of Joe Madden with the Cubs. Like,
Yeah, that was a little bit. Luckily, that was a shorter term. Thank God. But now our kryptonite's freaking Milwaukee, so we gotta
yes.
get past them. But at least that one's short. The White Sox, I don't know. Is that's just eternal? Can't figure this stuff out. I mean, that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, I don't care about the White Sox. I like just.
I mean, to me, the White Sox are like in the sports sphere of Jerry Reinsdorf, who already seems to not give a damn. It's like he left. It's like he left the White Sox on the shelf behind the books, and he's the squeaky penguin from Toy Story 2.
No, he really gave up on the White Sox first, and then he's like, you know what? While I'm at it, I might as well give up on the Bulls too. He's like, while I'm at it. Wait, you're telling me
like is that rumor about them going to Nashville even still a thing? By the way, like is that even a thing anymore? Or are they just like, I don't care, just keep
I was about
around.
to say, like, he's probably like, wait a minute, both teams can suck, and I can still make all this money.
And I still can make money. and CSN will print me redistribution fees too.
Yeah, if I do all this, I can still make money. All right, suck. And then we'll have a year or two where we try just to keep them interested, and then we'll go back to sucking.
Continue to feed the peasants enough interest.
That's why I was sitting here. I was like, I did a whole podcast today. I was like, Bears go to Indiana. Screw Illinois. Screw everything.
Oh my God. I haven't gotten even talked to you about that. That's going to be great.
Oh my God. When that happened, everybody at work was like, oh my God, they're going to Indiana. And I sat there and they were like, oh my God, they can't do that. And I looked at them, I was like, do it. And they're like, why? I said, one, I want the chaos. I want eternal chaos is the first thing. I said, the second thing is, I hate our governor. So I was like, just do it. Just go with it. And you know what? You know what? Screw Illinois, screw the taxes, screw everything that's horrible. Go to Indiana. And everybody's freaking out. They're like, oh my God, they're going to go to Indiana. I was like, they're literally going to be 12 steps across the border. Like it's nothing.
No. I know. And I love the gymnastics of this whole discussion where like, say like you bring up the thing where it's like, well, you know, the Giants and Jets play in New Jersey or like stuff like that. And then like, you'll hear like the people that are Chicagoans or like Chicago sports fans, but it's not the same thing, man. Indiana, Illinois are different. Indiana's a bunch of freeloaders on us, man. It's like, no, it's exactly the same thing because New Yorkers freaking bulldoze New Jersey residents all the damn time. They hate New Jersey. It's the exact same concept.
Exactly the same.
It is the exact same concept. So I mean, this could be avoided if, you know, you just figure some things out. I mean, I blame Warren. I blame the state government of Illinois. You know, this is what this led to. But it's even funnier. And I saw this the other day. I'm glad you brought this up. But freaking Bernie Sanders, of all people,
oh God,
is trying to pass an act. Let's see. Yeah, the bill. So he's trying to pass what is called the Home Team Act. I heard about this, and I'm curious what you think because personally, it's unrealistic. But here's the bill. The bill will require professional sports teams seeking a new home to give the locals 1 year to buy them first. You know, legally buy out the McCaskies somehow and make it a community team.
Why?
How? That's my question. How is that even legally possible?
How and why?
Like, what are we doing, dude? This is blown beyond proportions now. We have left the galaxy at this point. We have laws trying to be passed now or being postured for this stuff at this point.
The next quote I'm going to say, and then I'm going to kick myself or like backtrack a little bit, is politics stay out of sports. That's my first thing. Like, let them do their thing. But then I also know politics is getting involved in the transfer portal and, you know, name, image, and likeness, stuff like that, which we need something for that because that's outrageous. But let's just stick to the NFL. I think the NFL is more powerful than the government, so just let them do their thing. Like why are we passing laws? Like it's a private business. Let them do their thing, right? Like the Colts went from Baltimore to Indianapolis. The Raiders, look at the Raiders and the Chargers and the Rams. They can leave. The Oakland A's baseball team is leaving. I just watched Moneyball today just because it's one of my favorite movies, stuff like that. If the Bears want to go to Indiana, here's what the people are like, well, they have to stay. And I get it. They make so much money, taxes shouldn't matter, blah, 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 blah. But there's stuff they want to do. And if Illinois is trying to say you can't, they're going to go elsewhere. And the Bears thinking is, well, we're going to bring a lot of revenue to the state. So play ball or we're going to go to Indiana. And if Indiana goes, hey, well, how much is it going to be? $6 or $8 billion. What if we pay $4 or $5 billion of that and you pay the rest? Oh, cool.
Yeah. And now we're in that space. I was just kind of curious where this is at right now, because I had heard Illinois got basically a kick in the pants from Indiana now, like saying that we've passed a bill to essentially green light a stadium build. And go figure, in Kevin Warren fashion. And I get due diligence, but also like this has gone on too long where it makes my head spin. Now it's like, well, now we're waiting to see if Illinois will propose a plan that will then allow us to build in Arlington Heights. It's like, dude, just pick a damn plan. I don't care anymore. Like, this is the stuff that drives me nuts. Like, it feels like we have something and then we don't have something. And we
Well,
have something and we don't have something.
that's why when
And
it
it's
first
back
came
and
out,
forth,
that's why
you
they
know?
said it's a power play. And I'm like, of course it is. Like, we don't have to. I'm watching these podcasts where guys freak out. They're like, it's got to be a power play. And I'm like, of course it is.
Yeah,
Do you
I
really?
mean, it's going to whip you up. It's politics. I mean, Republican state versus Democrat state alone, like that's easily going to get people flustered. You know?
Well, and it's like, do you honestly think that Kevin Warren and the McCaskies want to leave the state of Illinois because it's the Chicago Bears? No, they don't. They truly don't. They want to stay in the city or go to Arlington Heights. That's the only places they want to go. But it just shows that they are willing to go to Indiana if Illinois doesn't play ball.
Mm,
And most states play ball because they don't want to lose a pro sports team.
yeah.
And especially if the Bears get to do what they want to do. Brand new stadium that can host Final Fours. They can host March Madness. They can host a Super Bowl. They can
Mm-hmm.
host NBA stuff, NBA All Star stuff. Put it in there. I know they do it at the United Center, but they could do it there. Build hotels, restaurants, all that stuff. All the stuff they want to do. A train that goes right to it. Like, do all these things
Yep.
that helps build revenue, creates jobs. That's what they want to do. If Illinois doesn't want to play ball and Indiana does, and the Bears are thinking about money to give to players, like so they can attract better players. There's a lot going on that fans don't want to look at, that politics don't want to look at. And the Illinois politicians are so confident that I think that's why it pissed off the Bears was like, hey, do what we want because we know you're not going anywhere.
Well, isn't it fascinating how we've had throughout this process, we've now had two different steps of the government that they have to interact with that have both said, you know what, F it, they can do it, and then have to backtrack because the Bears called their bluff on it. Like, remember freaking Lori Lightfoot when she was still mayor, how
Yeah.
she basically was like, this is ridiculous that we're even doing these talks, that whatever, we're not going to get serious about this, essentially is what it came down to. This was like towards the tail end of her candidate towards her tenure as mayor. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the Bears talked about Arlington Heights and leaving the state, she's like, oh, wait. Maybe we can talk about a deal. It's like, okay, looks like you didn't really have much of a spine. And then you have J.B. Pritzker and the Illinois government a year or so later, same deal. This isn't really a big issue. We're going to table this. We don't really need to push this up to the front. Illinois taxpayers shouldn't be talking about this. Bears then proceed to talk to Governor Braun and have a deal on the table ready to go if they want. Whoa, wait. We can actually talk this through. Let's not do this. It's like, it's funny how this has happened twice now. It's like no one's learning, but again, I also understand because, taxes do get sent down to you. So like, I know for you, Steve, if they do this deal, you're going to, I mean, in theory, the numbers have to be tangible to trace how much you're paying, but I mean, in theory, you'd be paying for their stadium in some way, is my guess. So,
well, that's kind of the problem. So I get both sides. The problem is, whatever Chicago needs, the rest of Illinois has to like pay for.
yeah, there's definitely that dichotomy of friction that
Well,
is there.
and ever since I want to say it was like 2008, 2010, friction really started to pick up between Chicago and the rest of Illinois. Because I don't think people understand how big the state is. Like, to get to the bottom of Illinois from where I am is probably 6 hours,
Mm-hmm.
8-hour trip, something like that. It's a big state. And I can tell you for a fact that everybody in Central Illinois and Southern Illinois could care less about the city of Chicago. Like, they like the sports teams just because it's a team in their state. But that's why Southern Illinois, they usually are Cardinal fans because they're near St. Louis. Some of them are Indianapolis Colts fans because of Indianapolis. Some of them are into Tennessee and Kentucky to where the state kind of bends. Some close to Iowa and stuff. So they're Iowa people.
Mm-hmm.
They could care less about the city of Chicago. They could care less. So I remember a bill was proposed many, many, many years ago to cut off the city of Chicago from the rest of Illinois. So that way they could just live their life. And obviously it didn't work. It keeps getting brought up again of like, there's parts of Illinois that want to like secede from Illinois and go to Indiana.
I've heard of that.
We have friends that
That's not the first time I've heard that one. Yeah.
we have friends that moved to Indiana. The husband still teaches in Illinois, so he drives like 35 minutes to work, which isn't terrible. But they live in Indiana because they got a much bigger house for way less taxes.
Well,
Like,
that's what my uncle did for years. He would commute to downtown and come back, but it's simple fact. It's even with you having to do, one of each state, it was more reasonable to live in the one side of the fence over in he was in Highland at the time.
oh
So,
yeah.
I mean that's nothing. Train ride or car ride over,
So that's just kind of where the state of Illinois is. So that's where they're having a hard time is I think everybody south of I-80 doesn't want to pay taxes for something that's especially if it's in the city. Now, if it's in
Right.
Arlington, you might be able to sell that a little bit
Mm-hmm.
to the rest of the state of Illinois because now they don't have to travel into the city. Because I'm a type of person that when I don't go to I only go to the city maybe once a year, maybe once every 2 years. But when I go, it's awesome to see. Like I like looking at the bill. Like it's just because from a small town, it's awesome to look
Mm-hmm.
at, whatever. But to get to the city, to get out of the city, to move around the city is a pain. And that's the part I hate.
Yeah.
Like,
I kind of had a conversation like this. I have a friend of mine who is really good friend of mine who lives in Aurora, Illinois. And well, actually not even Aurora. He moved out a little north. I'm forgetting specifically where. But same deal actually, because I honestly I think of him and I assume that he goes and hangs out more often downtown. And I do have a friend that lives just south of Wrigleyville, so like that alone. So I'm like, hey, you probably go visit him often, all that. He's like, and then we actually hit it up the other day because he wanted me to come visit, and I was like, and I talked to him about that. He's like, yeah, I haven't really been to downtown in a while. I'm like, and it's just like the more I've talked to him a lot about this, and I still don't recognize that until he says it, because it's like to me, I go to Chicago to go to Chicago, but it's also because I go like once or twice a year now. So it's like vacation for me and like comfort food type of thing. But like imagine for like yourself or others that are like in the suburbs, like, yeah, I mean, sure, you can go, but I mean, I get it. It's hectic to get down there and then have to figure out your stuff and all that, unless you live right there, don't have a car or have a situation to solve your car problem, that whole
well,
debate.
you have to, if you go to the city, you have to like carve out your entire day. Like the entire day has to be carved out
Yeah.
because like we moved even farther away from the city just because whatever. But like even living in Naperville, you take a train, it's still an hour and a half
Yeah.
by a train. And then you get there, then you have to carve out if the train leaves every 2 hours to get home.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to maneuver around the city. You got to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, people are in a rush. And so, like, when we go to the city, it's for a Bears Cubs game. Like, we hardly ever go for, like, let's just go to the city and bounce around. Like, that's not,
Oh, sure.
no. It has to be, hey, we're going to go to the Bean, then we're going to walk around Michigan Avenue or something, then we leave. Like, we're not going to, I wonder what this part of the city looks like and take off. And we're like, nope, that's not happening.
Yeah. No, not wrong whatsoever about that. Here's one I had. I had a great test with last summer. Was I had went to, I don't know if you ever heard of Riot Fest in Chicago. It's like
I've heard of it.
it's basically a punk alt rock metal
Uh-huh.
festival. Um, and it's at Douglas Park usually, out there. So this past year, I decided while we had gotten a place out nearby, instead of renting a car, I decided I'm going to ride the CTA lines and use that to get to the airport. Now, I didn't do that leaving, but I decided the day I was leaving, I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave my hotel. I have a CTA line down the street that I can jump on. It was the
Mhm.
green line. And then you proceed to jump on, I believe, yeah, you jump on the blue line to go. So I went downtown, jumped on the hub to the blue line, and then rode it to O'Hare and got to O'Hare. I'll tell you what, I almost missed my flight because I didn't even account for the fact that, the stops. Plus, I'd never rode that line before. And so if you ever ride that line, you get off and it's essentially walking. You're in the basement of O'Hare. So you have to walk up to the
Mhm.
main lobby. Then if you're not in the right terminal, you have to hop the terminal tram to the right terminal, then walk to your terminal. I got there just as they were putting the last people into the plane. I almost missed my flight riding the CTA line. Now, credit, good lesson for next time. It was cheap compared to Uber for sure. But as you're pointing out, no matter what you're doing, you got to plan it out. You know, that's still a haul to get out there by train for sure.
Mhm.
But it can be done. Just little experiment. I was always been curious as a kid, especially since I've started flying out there. If it can be done, it can be done. It's just you really got to know how much time it takes to get out there and really catch the trains on the right time.
Years and years and years and years ago, we were going to the Bears game, and we were taking the train. We don't really know. Somebody, like, had to text us, like, what to do. We weren't paying attention, and we took it all the way to the end of the line.
Oh,
We walked
okay.
out and very quickly realized we do not belong here. And the
I see.
workers grabbed us, like, pulled us and said, "Go back to the train, sit down in the train, and you'll be safe." And we're like,
Oh my
"Oh."
god.
So went back to the train, and we sat there until it took off again.
Oh my god, that that's as real as it gets, dude. Trust me, pal. Just stay in the car. You're gonna be all right.
Oh my god! Because we had our phones on, they said, "Put your phones back in your pocket. Don't let them see you with the phone in your pocket or your phone out, because 'cause they'll come up and take it, and blah,
Mm,
blah, blah. Get back on the train." And we
get
were like,
back on the
"Okay."
train. I did have, funny enough, that similar moment like that, the same trip. One of those moments was being that I had rode the night before, um, and the next day I told my buddies, I was like, "Hey, look, we'll just get on this stop, we'll write it down and go back. No big deal." The friend I was with, I learned has anxiety on riding public transportation, partially because of what the stories he has read about public transportation in the recent years. So I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to put you in that situation," as we're standing on the platform about to get on the train. And he's last minute's like, no, we'll get an Uber. I'm not comfortable with this. Like, oh, okay. But the previous night, I ran into a similar thing like you. No workers around for this, by the way. But the train was so crowded from Douglas Park to get out of town or to get back into town that I and others decided, you know what, screw it. We're going to ride out of town to go back into town. And I did do that second or third to last stop. And this one was a slightly different line, but right about second or third to last out, like we're getting into the burbs at this point. And that was the same vibe I got. I was like, huh. I mean, it's pretty quiet, but yeah, I kind of want this train to come pretty soon. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
I'm still a big, you know me. I'm kind of a biggish guy. I'm 6 foot. I'm a little bit, husky. I can probably keep someone away from being stupid, but like in my head, I'm like, Yeah, I kind of don't want to be stupid around me because I'll fold like a chair. Get the hell out of there. You know what I mean? But
Right.
it was kind of, you're like, this feels weird. I kind of want to go back towards the park now. Can we do that, please?
Hmm. That's because I'm a big guy, 6'5", 2 whatever. So that type of stuff, I'm always like, "Ooh," but I'm like, I don't think they care. I don't think the
Right.
people in the city really care.
Your presence probably pushes people away. Okay, I'm not gonna F with a 6'5" dude. Probably that probably could kick my ass on size alone, you know.
But people in college, it became I always thought that, but people in college were like, "Oh, he's big. Let's see if we can take him." That
Oh
always
yeah,
happened
there's
a
that
lot.
other side of the coin, ain't it? You know,
Or if my friends got in trouble with somebody, they come grab me and they're like, "Hey, you ready to do this?" I'm like, "Do what?" They're like, "Well, this guy wants to fight me." I'm like, "Good luck. Don't bring
yeah,
me
if
into
you're
this."
if you're on your own, what the hell you want me for?
But I had friends that did talk crap. They were like, "Wow, you see that guy? He's with me," and blah 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 blah. And it's like,
Oh,
I'm minding my own business.
why'd you rope me into this? Why are you pulling me into this? This isn't my fight. This isn't
Oh,
my conflict.
I had plenty of friends that did that.
Uh, let me ask you this: have you had any good like stories meeting people on the train? Because the one I had a really good conversation with. Met a man from Perth, Australia, on
Ooh,
the train ride that I did riding down and back on that night. Um, Talked about Australian rules football and just where where Perth is in Australia and just kind of like how it's been out here, bands we watch. Like it's a really fascinating conversation. You never know who you meet out in public. And the line of work I do, by the way, it was even funnier because I do with TV, we do some Australian rules football stuff. So like as soon as he brought it, I was like, oh, interesting. I do those games. It's like it just kind of spawned into a conversation. But that's the story. That's the most interesting story I've had on any train ride, I think, in a while. Do you have any that you can think of?
no,
Previous
because
ones?
we kind of keep to ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, no, I don't. I remember one time waiting. We got the train times wrong, and we had to wait another hour for the train to go home. Or in the train station.
Okay.
Um, we go into that bar right there, and this older couple sat by us. We were coming back from, was it a Cubs game or the Bears game? I don't remember. They just told us their life story, like Bears fans for like 40 years, and they go they're season ticket holders and blah 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 blah
Sure.
blah stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably the most horrific time was going to the city for St. Patrick's Day one time. That was
Ah.
probably the um, where the in-laws live is like 25 minutes away from the city. We were waiting for the train, and there was a ton of us waiting to get on the train. I didn't know how big a deal this was, never done it before. 2 trains came by, they would come up, stop, see how many of us were waiting, and leave. They wouldn't even open the door
Yeah.
because they were
Oh yeah.
packed to the extreme. That happened twice. The second time, somebody jumped on and tried to hold on to the outdoors as it went and said, "I'm just gonna ride it like this,"
Oh
and
my
stuff like
God.
that.
No. What? What?
So they had to stop it and, like, they opened it and kicked him off, like, literally it was like,
That's
yep.
crazy.
And then the 3rd train that came had to get us, and it became like a mob. So that's where my offensive lineman body size comes into play. I'm like, "Oh, we gotta push people? Here we go." I said told my now wife, I was like, "Grab onto me and tell your friends to grab on me and hold on." And we just like bull rushed through.
Now you're thinking with football.
And then once you got to the city and you got near the stuff, even though St. Patrick's Day is crazy, once you get there, it was okay.
Mm.
Just because you're kind of now spread out. Um, did see a dead body, I think, during that time.
Excuse me?
We were walking to her friend's apartment and we saw an ambulance and stuff pass us and turn right. And she was like, "Well, that's where we have to go to my apartment." So we turn and we see them all getting out. There's this guy laying on the ground, pale, and we have to walk around him. All I hear is, "Oh shit." That's all I hear.
Oh.
And like
Oh
pale,
no.
pale. And I was like, I think he's dead. So we just kept going.
Uh,
And
yeah.
then we get to our friend's apartment and you have to walk in the building and you have a lobby. Walk in, somebody on the bench is having a seizure. So we
Oh shit.
run over there. And it's funny, we're all trained from our jobs for like how to handle this. So we run over there, call the police, come to find out that they're diabetic and they turned off their thing so they could drink. And that's what happened.
Ooh, what the? They, God, crazy night.
So that's why in the city, I'm like, you know, like Wrigleyville's fun, stuff like that.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, it's like, hey, we're going to the Bears game. We just go there and leave. We go to the Cubs game. Oh, there's a couple places to go around there. You just do that and leave. Blackhawks games are really fun back in the day. I don't know if they are now, but they were.
God, I need the United Center stuff. I actually need to at some point do. I've never done the Blackhawks. Never have gotten to a Bulls game somehow. Hit both baseball teams and a Bears game. So now it's
Cubs,
just yeah. Now it's just the United Center stuff.
Cubs is weird because anytime we've ever gone, we've gone to a few. I love going to Wrigley Field just because it's Wrigley Field. Love it. But once we've done the rooftop, it's super hard to like go back inside because you spend like 80 or $100 and it's all you can eat and drink for 7 innings. It's super hard. And like there's no line, there's no, hectic stuff.
Good points.
Bears, I just like it because it's football. But it's super expensive, so we always set up high.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to Soldier Field's a pain. Like I'll say this, getting to Wrigley Field is super easy. Getting to Soldier Field's a pain. It's a super pain. That's why I don't care if they leave the city. It's a pain to get to. And United Center you just drive to. It's just easier to drive to. But I think it was a year or two after the Blackhawks won the cup. We went and the fans were like into the game, if that makes sense. Like super locked in the whole time. Like hardly anyone between periods got up and left. They were so locked in. There was no like drunk fighting. There was none of this. It was like Bears, my first Bears game. Jay Cutler had hurt his ankle. It was against the Lions. And then he tried to play on it. We lost 16-14 to the Lions. And Lions fans were talking. So Bears fans took this Lions fan and threw him over the balcony and they threw him off of it.
God.
So I grabbed her. I'm like, again, kind of like grab me. Don't let go of me. We're getting out of here. I get very like alert. And so, when you're walking, there's this grass hill at some point. There was a bunch of Lions fans up there, like yelling stuff at us. So the cops on the horses had to come up and surround the Lions fans so no Bears fans could go get them. Stuff like that. Yeah. So I was, and then like the people in front of us at the Bears game, they would take their empty cups and stack them like individually, see how much they had, and they get the bill. And they had like 15 cups. And I'm like, that's a lot of money right there. Like, that's a ton of money.
That's a ton of beer money going down the drain.
At the Blackhawks game, there was none of that. It was just like they're all locked into the game. And some people around us were talking strategy. And I'm like, I don't know strategy of hockey. I'm just here to enjoy. So they actually try to tell you, like, oh, this, like they, so it was fun. Blackhawks was fun.
Yeah, I've had, honestly, I would say potential opportunities as a kid, but my dad being the responsible parent, he'd get these tickets from work and I'd ask him as a kid, he'd be like, well, no, son, you got school in the morning. And then he'd head off. And I'm like in high school at this point, like freshman or sophomore year. And he would like send photos from the game. It's like having a blast from the box. It's like I could have been there
Like,
if I
hey,
wasn't in goddamn school
be a
and had
cool
to
dad
sleep.
and let me go.
Yeah, what the heck? I can miss a test. This doesn't even matter anyway. I bet this doesn't matter down the road.
And it doesn't.
And needless to say, it kind of didn't. some of the stuff it kind of didn't. I could have probably gone to those games, or maybe I don't know. I can already hear my mom be like, "Oh, Dad, you would have got it. You still had to get good grades to get the scholarships." I was like, "Okay, you know what? I back off. I leave it. I leave it alone."
Then I've been to probably 4 or 5 Bulls games my whole life, something like that.
Man, I would really
Uh,
love to go during the Derrick Rose years when
that's
I was still in high
that's
school. You know?
that's when I went, was one of the Derrick Rose years. I have his Christmas Day jersey. I got it for that
No,
game.
what? Okay.
Um, then I went to a couple after that, and then now it's just we went probably a year ago, year and a half ago, maybe. And the only cool part of it I could say is I got to see Audasumu play, like
Yeah.
Illinois guy, and that's about it.
No, that
Um,
was before he got shipped off.
before he got shipped off, but it's not on the list anymore to like get to a pro game right now. Um, having a
I
child,
mean,
you gotta,
unless you're in like a market like say like out here where Arizona tickets are like Cardinals tickets you can get for super cheap out here. The
well,
only exception, Steve, is if the Bears play the Cardinals.
that
They
that's
know their audience and demographic out here, and they upcharge like crazy for Bears tickets. I mean, I'm glad I went and saw them, but I've seen them play the Rams with my buddy, and I've seen them for, I believe, one other game or something like that. No, just the Rams. It's night and day. And LA
well,
is just down the road from Phoenix compared to Chicago. But it's just because of how the Chicago transplants and the spring baseball culture out here, they just up the price, you
well,
know?
that's what happened with the Lakers because I always wanted to try to see Kobe play,
Mhm.
and at the time you're always like, "Well, I gotta go to Chicago." Well, if they go to Chicago, the tickets went up
Mhm.
because it's Chicago and it's the Lakers.
And it's the Lakers.
So when I was this 2014 or 2013? I don't remember. Lakers were going to play at Indianapolis. Well, Eastern Illinois is only like an hour and 15-minute drive away, if that. So we got tickets for super cheap, like $40 a person to go. And you're like, okay. And so you're going. Well, the day before Kobe rolled his ankle. And so they said he doesn't know if he's gonna
Ah,
play. And
yeah.
I was upset. I was like, the only reason why I want to go is to see Kobe. But we already paid the tickets. I'm like, let's go. Steve Nash is on the team, Dwight Howard's on the team, stuff like that. Let's just go. Um, we're walking around Indianapolis, Lakers fans everywhere, everywhere. So I'm surprised they were $40. But Indy knows like not to upcharge it because they're smart. We get
Yes.
to the game, over the thing, it says, breaking news, Kobe Bryant says he's gonna play. And I'm like, oh my God. He only played the first quarter and then he couldn't do it anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But
Caught
I
up
got to
to
see
him a
him.
little.
Yeah, he was hobbling and he was like, but they asked him after the game and he said, I have a job. Like he said, like, if you look in the stands of Indianapolis, there's so many Lakers fans. And he's like, they come to see us play. My job is if I can go out there, I'm going to go out there. And
Nah, I always respected that about Kobe, and even more so after I think just kind of I knew about Kobe Bryant, growing up and saw him with some of the best years he had, in like the late 2000s with them and the Gasol teams. But I didn't really respect how much of like a tough son of a bitch he was on the court. And then also like that comment to me also when really like in an era of basketball that we have to institute 65 game minimums to even be considered an MVP or rewards candidate for the end of season is just, it's baffling how night and day things have changed in just like under 20 years with the
oh,
NBA. you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said, I think Kobe was already kind of on that, if I remember right. I don't know 100%, but like I imagine more so if he's alive. And I know like a lot of the old heads are like this, that he would be in that same vein of like, this is we've gone soft on a lot of this stuff. Very much so.
He kind of said that before he passed away. He was kind of like, I have a job to do. He was like, if somebody is walking around an arena with my jersey on and I can play, I'm going to play, even if it's
Mhm.
for a quarter or two. So that way, because was it him or Michael Jordan? I can't remember. Somebody said, think about it. If it's a blue collar worker to buy a ticket for their son or daughter, or whatever, that's a lot of money. And then to get there, you probably buy
Right.
them a shirt or a jersey. It's a kid. They're going to want nachos. They're going to want a soda. So you're spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And then the star doesn't play. Like he's like, we have a job. And Michael Jordan, I think, kind of was the figurehead of that. 'Cause I think he always said that. He was like, I have to play. Like,
Mhm.
it's just, there's no question. Unless when Michael broke his leg, he's like, obviously, I can't play. But he's like, I'm going to play because I grew up in the 90s, but I was little. So it was kind of hard. I remember the Bulls, but you don't remember everything. So I really grew up, 2000, I was 10 years old. So I
Yeah.
really grew up with Kobe and Shaq, like big time. And that was one of the things was people don't talk about enough is how tough Kobe was. Um, Popping his own finger back in during the game to say I'm going to
Oh
play.
God, yeah. Oh
Um,
man.
he tore his Achilles and shot the free throws and walked off the court, like stuff like that. Um, when he broke his nose, he didn't want to wear the mask anymore. He's like, I can't do it. He tried it, took it off, and he get hit in the nose. It's already broken. He's like, I got to stay out here though. Like, just stuff like that. So I always remember that when Kobe, and I'm like, LeBron wouldn't have done that. He would have rolled his ankle and be like, I'm not playing. Like him and James Harden and all of them, like they're not playing.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, it's just a completely different era, you know. It's just how it feels that way. And I don't think we're going back with that unless there's a drastic fall off in the product or something like that. Same how like we talk about, the physicality of the game's kind of disappeared. And I always whenever that comes up with people I talk with at like work or whatnot, I always backtrace that to like we've always been progressively degrading that since the Mouse at the Palace incident because we want to
Mhm.
avoid creating that tension, or at least we want to like shut it down in its tracks if possible. That's why like fouls are so loose anymore, or they're just not covered as much because it's just like, you know, instead of letting guys play as much, let's just shut that down before it even gets to that point, which I mean, sure, it mitigates that, but then you get like what we have now where it's like basically all-star games every day. And that to me, I miss the physicality of basketball. You know, I just had
Right.
this talk with my buddy on our USF on our BCPC podcast about that, where it's just like, and he's a Detroit fan from the bad boy era, growing up in that era as a kid, you know, and I know that was like super aggressive and overkill a little bit. So like Bill Lambier and those guys, but like I kind of miss that, man. Like that's like that's what you get battle tested on the court with stuff like that, you know.
Um, Sorry, I got a softball thing. It just never stops.
No, stop the presses. Coach as the coach. He's he's got to do his coaching thing. Put the hat on.
Um, that's kind of what deterred me away from the NBA. Like I don't watch it anymore at all. Like it's not on my priority list to like, oh my god, I have to watch this Bulls game or I have to watch because growing up, that was basketball. It was like tough. It was like hack a Shaq. Like Shaq took a lot of beatings.
Oh yeah, the hack a
Mouse in the
shack stuff too. Yeah.
House in the Palace, the fights at Indianapolis, um, stuff like that. And then near the end of Kobe playing, that's the only reason why I watched this because Kobe was still in it.
Mm-hmm.
But even near the end of that, it was starting to do that. Like LeBron and all them started to come in and it started to become soft. And I just can't do it no more. Like it
Mhm.
got to that point where it was you just couldn't do it no more. Like even the Boston Celtics with Kevin Garnett and them, like it was a tough team. Um, Miami Heat with Alonzo Mourning in them, that was a tough team.
Yeah.
Um, the Pistons after the bad boy era with like Ben Wallace and them, tough team. And you don't have that anymore. I can't think of anybody saying, "Oh, the NBA team is a tough team." There is no more. And so I remember gravitating towards college basketball more because at the time, college basketball was still kind of like that NBA, not quite, but it was like tough. It was, and it's kind of it depends on who's reffing. There's some games that are really tough, and then there's some that aren't. Um, so college basketball is sort of leaning that way, but
Yeah.
it's not quite the NBA because the NBA has their union, they have this, and they say, this is the way we're going to go. College basketball doesn't. They just have their referee stuff and like the rules and how they interpret it and stuff like that. Um, but every pro sport's doing that. NFL's leaning that way. College football's leaning that way.
Mhm.
Um,
I
it's just
did get in a bit more into college basketball regular season this year, by the way, and I got to tell you, that stuff for the most part sounds like maybe the occasional loose ref. It's kind of why I kind of like the new college basketball product, at least the regular season, is that it feels more physical. It feels like it's like more raw basketball.
mhm.
Like to me, it's like it doesn't feel like we're like padding out time to just get to like, oh, now I gotta go serious. Like these guys go serious every night in the regular season, and then you go into the tournament, it's still like that too. I know there's conversations about the tournament with like the Cinderellas now having their own thing and how people are like, are we gonna see Cinderellas again or whatnot? But like the regular season product is, I think, the best I've ever seen since I've watched. And I'm kind of enthralled with it now. Where I want to watch regular season college basketball, like the men's side. Even the women's is solid, but like the men's basketball right now is like it's like upper tier for like the top conferences, like Big Ten basketball in particular, or like Big 12 as well, SEC. Like there's great games being played right now in those
Mhm.
conferences. It's awesome to watch.
Oh yeah, the Big Ten killed it this
Oh,
year.
this year the Big Ten was freaking amazing with all the different great schools and like how it was down to the wire with the tournament with like the regular season championship. Like it was awesome.
Almost a Big Ten Final Four. It was
It was close. Well, it was close in tournament. I mean, Purdue did not was not close to Arizona, and I knew they were going to fall down. But you know, still, it's pretty nice to think about that, right?
yeah, but that's why I lean towards college basketball more than NBA for sure. For sure, there's more electricity to it. I think. Um, I still think that it depends on the refs. You get the refs that treat it like the NBA. Then there's some that are like, "Hey, we'll let you be physical up until a point," and that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why I don't have the numbers, but I would like to say that more people probably watch college basketball than NBA nowadays. NBA's ratings keep going down.
Yeah, I mean, I think the college basketball one is flipping for the regular season because there's like at least it seems like I know Fox for sure and like ABC also they had it seemed like they had growing numbers in those categories. Um, I know for sure Fox's Friday basketball games, those were like a big hit, like for some of those. So, that's not going away anytime soon.
The
But
only thing that hurts,
I just love the product. Like I said, it feels like the older school stuff that I was used to before we started really just like almost not even calling on a regular scale, like
right,
some
right.
rules or, trying to be physical anymore, you know?
Well, the only thing that hurts college basketball is that sometimes when they put a game on at like 9:30 at night, and you're like, oh,
Oh yeah.
that's
That can be
that's the only
rough.
one that's the killer right there. That's the um I didn't coach basketball this year, so I got to watch more of it this year. When I'm coaching basketball, super hard to watch college basketball.
Yeah, I bet.
Unless you catch the 9 o'clock one, but you're going to bed or whatever. But it was um I'm trying to get more into college baseball this year. That's my and softball because I'm coaching softball, so I'm trying to
Oh,
like
totally. Hey
And
man,
softball is actually exciting.
College World Series. I mean, that's I mean, I won't say it's slept on. People are very well aware of it, but that's one of those I think that sometimes gets overlooked in like terms of like like college sporting events of the year.
Oh, yeah,
Like that,
I had
that's some great stuff.
when I was coaching in Charleston, we had a lot of kids whose parents would take them to that in Nebraska, and they'd come back and be like, "That was an awesome experience."
Yeah.
And that's something I would love to go see.
That was my next door neighbors. They were massive baseball fans as it is. My what they were like the friends of mine were Cardinals fans, and
Oh,
the dad was a Pittsburgh Pirates fan as a kid, and so they decided to head out to Nebraska for the tournament. That, like when I was growing up, same deal. They just came back just raving and hollering about it, and it's good. Like college baseball is pretty slept on too, honestly.
the thing this podcast is everywhere, but the thing that I'm
Yeah, but you knew this was going to happen today. You knew this was
well,
going to happen.
so here's what I get pissed off about this damn streaming services, and if I don't have, like, ESPN Plus, you can't, like, watch these games, like, yesterday, home with my son just in case, and I'm like, "Okay, I wonder if there's any softball on, I wonder if there's any baseball on." You go to ESPN app. Once in a while, there's free stuff, but then it's like 30 games, ESPN Plus. And it's
Mhm.
like, why am I gonna buy ESPN Plus? Like, why can't you just post this on here? Or like now you have like Cubs, if you don't have the marquee network, you can't see these and stuff like that. And it's like so I put my foot down. I'm like, I'm not paying for this stuff anymore. Like if it's not on something that's under $6, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what hurts college baseball is if you don't have all this other stuff to watch it, you don't see it. So it's really hard to keep up with.
I would say that I'm annoyed with the current state of live streaming sports, and it's becoming worse. And I know that there is current discussion on Capitol Hill about how do we approach this topic because it is, I think, becoming more of a problem. And you see like leagues like even the NBA, especially the NFL, who are like trying to make new games out of thin air to sell more packages to more places to basically uber monetize these games. And I kind of hope that they go a little too close to the sun and get the hammer brought down on them and they have to adjust. You know, that is my hope right now. Cause I'm with you. Like there's a lot of great stuff, but it's getting a lot more and more blocked behind the paywall. And it's like, sure, cable's one thing, but like it was a one-time purchase and you get all those channels. Now it's like, I got to buy everything if I want to watch everything. And I just no, man.
That's like I had to get Peacock last year, the year before, because there was like 2 or 3 Illinois football games where if you didn't have this, you weren't gonna be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the case this year. They kinda went back to, like, being on Fox and kind of, YouTube TV. We didn't have YouTube TV at the time. They were showing Illinois games. So it became like, okay. Um, but then you had to get, like, Big 10 Plus for something, and it's become too much. Like, we're paying, I think, more now. If you get everything, you're paying more now than what we did when you had cable,
Yeah.
like the old school cable. But that's the other thing is like in Illinois and Chicagoland, if you do Xfinity and Comcast, it's 250 a month. And so I think it's better to have you don't think about it being 250 a month until you add it up. Like if you have Netflix, Hulu, this, and this, you start adding it up and you go, wait a minute, I am paying 200 and some dollars. Uh, Disney Plus went up to like 190 for the year, stuff like that.
Yeah. Netflix just raised their prices too.
They raise their prices every year.
I mean, they
It's
do, but like, when does it stop? You know, When do you just let it sit for a while instead of like every year and a half?
Well, my buddy who's really big into this stuff, there's competition, so they constantly. That's the thing with Disney Plus is, and the Marvel stuff. My buddy and I used to do this thing on here called Geek Corner. We haven't done it in a long time, but he is very knowledgeable about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, think about it. Marvel was pumping out too much content, right? And they
Yep.
kind of scaled it back a little bit. But the reason why they were pumping out so much content was because Disney Plus got involved and they have to keep subscribers. So that's why they were constantly pumping out all the stuff in Marvel. They were like, we have to get all the Star Wars stuff. We have to get all this stuff. If you're Netflix, you now have to constantly try to come up with new things to keep people subscribed. So, like, they're coming up with all these movies, and there's this, and there's that, there's these documentaries. But then now you have to start paying money to make these things, so they're going to raise prices so that way they can keep making this content.
Compensate. Yeah.
That's why Hulu, for the longest time, stayed at that $6.99 with ads. They now they're starting to raise their prices. They're not to Netflix status, but they're starting to because they're starting to make their own stuff. So they're trying to, compete with that. Disney Plus is trying to compete because the reason why they kept pumping out content was because if you think about it, like the new Daredevil came out, like the season 2 came out last week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Once it shows its 8 episodes, what's the next thing you're going to have? Well, if you have nothing coming out for a month or two, I can unsubscribe if you're doing month by month, unsubscribe, wait for 2 months, and then subscribe again. Well, they just lost 2 months of me paying money.
Well, right. I mean, that is a phenomenon going on, is the kind of the buy and then there's some term for it, but it's basically like the flyer ones where you're buying like a month flyer and then you're getting the hell out of the service because you've done what you wanted. And I'm one of those guys too, where like if I even am like interested to a, like, it's got to give me a bit of an itch degree, I'm gonna buy it and mash through a season of television and then be done immediately. I understand that too. But on the flip side, though, I'll say this. I almost feel like there's too much content right now, and then the sports stuff added on top, and it's just like, I don't know. I just want to watch sports at this point. It's hard to even keep up with all the stuff that's on these services at the moment.
Well, that's why you saw Hulu and ESPN kind of and Disney join,
yeah,
and try to say, oh, blah 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 blah, but then they'll keep raising their prices. So once they get you, like, hey, you get ESPN, Hulu, and Disney Plus for $12.99 a month. Oh, but you didn't realize in this $12.99 a month there's ads. So if you want the non-ads, $20.99 a month. Oh, but wait a minute. You actually want live TV on top of that, not just sports and the Hulu stuff? Now we got to make it $100 a month.
yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I need internet. Well, that's $50 a month. So now you're at 150. Oh, but you want Netflix to watch Stranger Things? Well, there's $20 a month. Oh, on Hulu, we don't get all these games. You have to go on Peacock. That's $5 a month. So you got to be able to go get that.
Right.
Oh, you want this TV show? It's on Paramount Plus. Now you have to go get that. Oh, you want this one? You want to watch Ted Lasso season 4? Well, it's on Apple TV. You got to go get Apple TV.
Yeah, now freaking F1 on Apple TV. So like, it's just getting more distributed, and it's just annoying. Like I said, I feel like we're going to get to a fever pitch soon enough where it's going to be like, okay, guys, what are we actually being good for the consumer at this point? And I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to see a reshuffling of the deck, or reclassification of sorts. I think is going to happen.
Well, you would think that's like, for us personally, we have Netflix, Hulu, we have YouTube TV because we did the AT&T Direct TV, but then they lost. There was always this battle of like getting channels from certain people.
Mm-hmm.
So YouTube TV seemed better, so we jumped to that. I pay Disney Plus for the year. I don't do the monthly. I pay for the year, so I don't have to worry about it. But it went up to 190. but 190 for the year to me is not bad. Just pay it.
No.
Go. Um, I think I pay the $5 for Peacock, but that's it. I won't do anything else. Like the only reason why we saw Ted Lasso is because this was during COVID or the 2021, 2022. We switched to AT&T and we got Apple TV for 4 months. So we
Mhm.
binge watch it. We're like, we got to watch it now before this 4 months is up.
Yeah. Right.
So like I won't see Ted Lasso season 4 because I'm not going to pay for Apple TV.
That's just wild they brought it back. I haven't even watched that last one. I heard it ended on a pretty good note. You know?
That I mean, it was an ending where it was one of those endings where like if you did bring it back, you get why, but it was also an ending to where like if you ended it, like it's perfect. You
Right.
know, kind of like the kind of like Star Wars. Like when they ended it in episode 3, like end it. Like we're done. And then they ruined it by bringing those other 3 movies in and stuff like that. They don't need to. Kind of like Indiana Jones. After they ended it after the 3rd movie, we didn't need the 4th and 5th.
I have not watched that movie only because I am the very last one, the most recent one that Disney made. I have
I have
not
not watched
watched.
that either.
Just I just don't want to be disappointed. And I know like Crystal Skull has plenty of hatred on its own, but like I still kind of enjoyed that. But no, but that's beside the point. Like exactly, you can always find new things to add. IP is IP. It's you're clutching it tight more and more. It's like Paramount saw they bought all that stuff up, and now they own this cable empire. Like it's all about the IPs and the things you can pull out for new ways to bring your people into your service.
Right.
So,
That's Disney Plus did the same thing. Like, hey, what if we expand the Star Wars universe? And they kind of did okay because Mandalorian is pretty good. I have not watched the last season, but like, okay, cool. You hit a home run. This is a good series. Um, then they redid the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing.
mhm.
Awesome. I was worried about it. Awesome. But then they started adding other things, and it's like, okay, now you're starting to get way all over the place because those last 3 movies they did were not good, and they just Marvel started to spin off the rails because they were just pumping out content over and over and over, and now they're finally Kevin Feige put his foot down. He's like, "Listen, this isn't working."
No. No, sir, it was not.
He's like, to pump out 3 or 4 movies a year and then try to pump out 3 or 4 TV things a year. This is not working. So they started losing their storyline. They started losing this, and they said we have to scale this back. And that's where I think Disney Plus panicked because they're like, oh, if we're not pumping out content, people are going to unsubscribe. And I think that's where their panic comes in. But I don't know people that unsubscribe to Netflix and resubscribe. I feel like people just keep it.
Well, now you know one.
I do. We don't do it. We
I did so I could watch Tires, and then I backed out. I have not done one, and it's funny because Bears have played on Amazon. Credit, I also work nights, so
Amazon. That's another one I forgot.
Yep, I mean that's one of the honestly for sports that's like the one that people praise a ton between like football and NASCAR. Like they think that's one of the best services for sports right now. But that being said, I have not done that for sports or anything where I bought like a month to have it yet. Maybe actually no, once I have, but it was to watch the Commanders win on what was like it was Justin Fields trying to get a game winner, and I don't remember who dropped the touchdown right on the goal line, but it was it's a sad moment. That's all I can tell you.
Well, you get it when you have Amazon Prime for shipping, so you automatically
Right,
get it.
which I have not had Prime in some time.
Oh, we do. We've had it for years. So we just have it.
Oh yeah. Hey, I get it. Free shipping's free shipping, man. It's fast. You know?
Well, Amazon Prime's got good stuff, but I always forget about it though. Because I didn't like watching football on it. There was first time they ever tried it, everybody's internet crashed on it. And it's like you weren't prepared for this, and
Mm-hmm.
um,
Well, and my issue with it is, and they still don't do this right, is the audio mix for the football games is off. They don't
yeah,
mix the crowd noise in very well, and it always seems like Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit are a little, maybe not muted, but like the audio quality is different for them. It's just how they do the games, but I don't like how they do those. For some reason they don't mix the games well with the audio, and it doesn't feel like a football game as much as like Fox or CBS in that
right.
way.
It
So
got better this year, but like when they were first doing it, it was terrible.
yeah, they're getting there. I mean, the whole analytics portion of it, I get how that's cool. Like the alt cast with the like breakdowns and like in real time stuff. That is pretty neat. I'll give you that. Does it entice me to always watch those games? No, I can live without that if I don't need that per se. So,
And I forgot about HBO. Like I love watching Hard Knocks, but
yeah,
I'm not paying for it.
right. You saw that next two Hard Knocks are announced, Seattle, and then 2028 is going to be or wait, not the next two. Yeah. 2026 is Seattle, and 2027 is New England.
Oh, I'm more interested in the New England one than I am.
Mm-hmm. Intriguing.
See Mike Vrabel do drills.
Yeah, right.
See him.
I mean, hey, more Mike Vrabel, please. I mean, that's the players' coach right there, the people's coach. I think.
Oh, he's America's coach.
Feels like it
When he's doing the blocking drills with his chest and stuff. He's
mm-hmm.
and he does clinic stuff like that. When he does that, he's out there doing it. He's nuts. Wasn't there a fight this year and he like jumped in to like break it up and he got hit in the face or something?
Yeah. No, he did. He's I feel like he gets only overshadowed by Dan Campbell because Campbell's a little louder than Vrabel because they both have a similar personality in terms of like I'm the leader guy, I'm the leadership guy, I'm the rally the troops guy, I do the extra stuff on the side or on the field that most other coaches wouldn't do. It's just that Dan's louder and has more memorable quotable lines than Mike usually does, is how I take it.
Mike Vrabel's a mixture of Dan Campbell and Bill Belichick.
He has a lot of Bill Belichick traits. Smart rules guy. That's Mike. I mean, shoot, one of Mike's first appearances to people as a talented head coach was out dueling and out knowing rules, comparing to Bill Belichick in the playoffs. I mean, that's like textbook stuff right there.
Well, the way he handles the media too is kind of, it's not quite Bill Belichick, but it's like that. And he's very like, we're going to keep everything with the team. We're not going to say too much. But then he like coaches like Dan Campbell, like when he's at practice, like he's just all over the place. So he's a Bill Belichick, Dan Campbell mixture. Well, that's what I told people. I think you and I talked about it. Mike Vrabel was like the number one. Him and Ben Johnson were like my top two to bring in.
Yeah, it seems like either way that would have worked out fine. Just seeing how the playoffs went,
Oh, but once New England opened up, I was like, Vrabel is gone. He's not going to Chicago.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that it was a red carpet, essentially.
Yeah, a welcome home. Like, hey,
exactly.
Here you go. It'd be like Brian Urlacher coming back. Like, just like, hey,
that would be nice. He lives out here. I should try and like accidentally bump into him.
And he does. He's been doing more podcasts lately. So
that he has. I do know he's been doing more podcasting, trying to get back in the media stuff. Maybe he missed his days on FS1. Now he wants to get back in while the iron's hot.
Well, I think he said he doesn't care anymore. Like he'll say whatever. He said that. I think he's on Johnny Manziel's,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Yeah, when you were playing and you're in the NFL, you have to be careful what you say." And he goes, "I don't care anymore." He goes, "I can say whatever I want."
Right.
And he
Oh,
says,
and like Urlacher, you remember Urlacher? Like his whole shtick was like he already seemed like the hard ass. Wasn't a very in public fan friendly guy. Didn't really tolerate people coming up to him. During those type of things. He was always business. And maybe he was protecting himself at that point. But like, I feel like post NFL career, Brian Urlacher has had quite the interesting arc into coming into his own and like being in the media,
"Well, our head coach in football, they know like friends of theirs are friends with some of the Bears,
Mhm.
like former players." And they said, believe it or not, Brian Urlacher and Lance Briggs would like joke around in the locker room, like pull pranks and stuff like that. But that's because they knew when they could do that, and then they knew when you had to be serious. So, like, if they came in, if they were losing at halftime, and somebody comes in and tries out they would take care of business.
Sure.
Or if they lost a game, they took care of business. If they
It's
won
time.
a
Yeah, it was
game,
time to buckle up at that point.
right? So so I was like, wait, Brian Urlacher a jokester? And they're like, oh yeah, like, well, like my mom's work friend from years and years ago, her son was a punter in the NFL for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He bounced around a few teams. He was on the Jets when Favre was there, and he said his locker was right next to Favre's.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "How was Favre?" And he goes, "Oh, you would have thought he was a 12-year-old, like pulling pranks on people, joking around, whipping people with towels, stuff like that, and like just having the time of his life." And so I was like, "Was he ever like mad?" And they're like, "Nah, like he was never."
Nice.
And he goes, "And we sucked." He's like, "On the Jets, and we sucked." And he was like,
Suck.
they're like, "No, he was like a freaking child." Like just he has a podcast too, I think now.
I believe so. I mean, Favre's been his whole post NFL career has been kind of weird, like in and out of court with some of those fund allegations, and like I know he's been dealing with. I think he says he's dealt with like kind of the hits catching up to him in some
What
ways.
does he have like Parkinson's?
I didn't want to say. I'm not. I know he's announced that before.
Yeah, September of 24, he revealed that he got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Yeah. I knew it was something serious. Just didn't want to say it without you or me confirming that. But yeah. But no, I mean I think I know he does plenty of podcasts. I mean he seems to be more and more so getting on them. So
Favre, who played 20 NFL seasons, believes he sustained over 1,000 concussions.
man.
He's reported symptoms of including tremors and difficulty swallowing.
Oh God. Yikes.
Over 1,000 concussions.
I mean, shoot, man. Dude used to like all the time lay his body on the line. I mean, I mean, I don't know if you've seen this. I think it was his football life. Because he was addicted to painkillers back in the 90s. Like he got overboard on those because he would just use those to numb the pain because he felt like he could just do whatever with them, and it caught up to him.
Well, when he like broke his ankle versus the Saints, like still played. Like you want to talk about a tough player, even with painkillers and stuff. Like a tough player, Brett Favre.
Most definitely.
Like, yeah, we all hated him because he was on the Packers. But once he left, it was like, I'll watch him. Then he went to the Vikings, and you're like, God damn it!
Why
like,
did you come back? Come on, man.
But see, when he came,
the game though, that's for sure.
But when he came back to the Vikings, I was like, oh, he was sucking on the Jets. He's going to suck over here. Game away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. But you want to talk about tough. Ooh, he was a tough player.
Not many like him.
He
Not
was
many
like
like
Kobe Bryant. He was like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan-esque of being tough.
So that's a unique comp, but I see it.
And you would think he'd have more championships than one.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's funny because you look at his career, and a lot of it came down to just honestly just his own style of play. Sometimes would burn him. You know, being a true gunslinger the way he is, and like the risk taking he would take, like blessing and a curse. You know, I mean, I know for a fact that they lost opportunities to get to Super Bowls in Green Bay with him under center just from some miscues he would have late in games. And then, you know, you can't forget how, you know, when the Saints went to the Super Bowl, he was the one that threw the interception that essentially sealed the deal. You know, Minnesota in 2009 looked unstoppable
Mm-hmm.
for many stretches. And then they went to the Superdome and you know, going I don't remember if it was overtime or it was actually was OT, threw a pick, and basically New Orleans was able just to kick their way to the Super Bowl that year. So
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
But I'm just reading stuff on Brett Favre. I need to stop.
No, you're gonna get in the rabbit hole after the show's over.
Well, there's that documentary on Netflix I never watched of him.
Yeah. I forgot that they has a whole doc on him too.
Well, which he didn't approve. This was not him that made it.
Mm, that would
Well,
probably also explain it.
he got mad. All I remember is him getting mad about it because he said it's like a hit piece on him, and I think he's going to sue. He's like, a lot of this isn't true, so he like wants to sue.
Yeah.
Kind of like the P Diddy stuff
Oh, right, right.
that 50 Cent made.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Jesus.
If you haven't watched
50
it, it's
Cent.
good.
Oh, I bet. But it's funny because like 50 Cent's like it's almost like the Hollywood boogeyman. He's like investigative journalist, or he wants his money, you know.
Well,
That's just funny.
I mean, I'm not saying P Diddy's innocent,
Whoa,
but
no. I'm talking about 50 Cent in terms of that's just how he operates. P Diddy, I don't want to mess with anything with P
well,
Diddy.
that's what I was saying. Like, I'm not saying that he's innocent, but I didn't know 50 Cent and him had differences. So when that documentary came out and I found out about it, I was like, oh, you're
I
doing this
see.
because of this. But it did shed some light on some of the things of P. Diddy, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
like you kind of learn about how P. Diddy grew up, and you're like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
Like his mom would throw parties, and he'd be like 12 years old, stuff like that, and the stuff that was going on, he just continued to do that. And then I
Good
also didn't
Lord.
know P. Diddy was. I didn't know his name was drug through who killed Tupac. It was just stuff that you
I
forgot about.
Yeah, I kind of didn't know that. I did
Well,
not know that until
oh,
now.
watch the documentary. Goes all into it about how was P Diddy involved in the killing of Tupac.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. That'll get me. That'll be a night right there. I'm gonna make a bowl of popcorn and kick back for that.
That's what we did. We watched it in 2 nights.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And then it's always funny when they come to the baby oil stuff. It's really fun.
Yeah. He's never gonna let that one go. That'll never be gone from him.
Or like there was stuff in the stuff in the baby oil. I don't know, just a bunch of. Then there's like footage of P Diddy while this stuff's going on. Like he's on the phone with his lawyer, and you hear all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like
Still.
the Tupac stuff comes up. There's another thing that comes up. Biggie Smalls thing comes up.
Mm-hmm.
there's something else that comes up that he might have been involved with, but they have to find the proof of like the money trail if he was involved.
Right.
And they said back then, it was really hard if it was cash and stuff like that. Because I forgot how old he was. They were talking about stuff in the 80s and 90s. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot P Diddy is that old.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely, he's been around the block now. Absolutely.
Oh, he's in the block now.
He's in the block. He took a few laps and he decided to stop for a little bit. Found his spot.
Been out here for a while. Any good video games?
Lately, actually, it's funny. I'm playing through Jack and Daxter 1 right
Okay.
now. No joke. I have this device. I don't know. You have a PC, but are you like a PlayStation or Xbox?
I have a
guy?
PC. I just haven't turned it on like a year, but I have PlayStation and
Okay. So like, I don't know if you heard this, but the PlayStation 5, they have a device called the PS Portal. It's a handheld, essentially PlayStation 5 controller with an LCD screen on it. And what it does is it links up to your PlayStation console and it can play whatever's on your console, like download it or on disc, and play it on the screen, streaming it wherever you're at, whether it's in your house or if you have a Wi-Fi connection, you actually play it around the world. So like I played it in Puerto Rico this past year. I've played it last year. I was in Flagstaff and playing it in a little cabin that had Wi-Fi.
wow.
It's pretty cool. But they have a streaming thing if you have PlayStation Plus like premium, where you can stream their library and you don't even need the PlayStation console. So like I've been playing Jack and Daxter on that thing like a handheld, and it's pretty fun. I actually haven't played forever, but like I'm almost done beating the game. I'm probably gonna play through all three of those via that, and then Sly Cooper as well. That's what I've been doing lately.
That's awesome.
Anything good for you?
No, I don't have time.
Well, okay, fair. Yeah, I mean, kind of fell into that one, I guess.
Well, so during my paternity leave, the plan was to play, and you found out very quickly. Oh, I had plans. I was like, oh, lots of video games. I'm going to read my books that I need to read.
Let me guess. This kid's going to be a breeze. I can find time between the kid and the gaming.
I found out very quickly that the only time you played was like at nighttime when everybody's asleep. Until he figured out how to nap, because he can only nap on you. But then if you're playing video games and you keep moving your forearms, eventually he'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, you don't want to mess with the kid sleeping on the parent. That's bonding time.
So the only game I played during paternity leave was college football.
Mm-hmm.
And my nerdness is going to come out. It was the Dragon Ball Z Sparkling Zero.
Oh, really? I didn't see you as a DBZ guy.
Oh, growing up in the 90s? What are you talking about?
I mean, okay, but like I don't know. Look, I know you as sports ball to the max guy and
there's
Disney
a nerd
guy.
side. There's a nerd.
Wow. Okay.
There was
I've
Dragon Ball.
I've learned some bit about you today. Yeah.
You had Dragon Ball Z on the TV. You had Pokemon games. You had, So I dabbled in all the worlds. I was in the sports world. I was in that side. I grew up on PlayStation 2 playing Lord of the Rings games. Like PlayStation 2 had the best Lord of the Rings game of all time. Constantly played it. So I played that. I beat the game already. Kind of. I don't understand it, but like they have episode battles. You pick a character and it goes through like the whole timeline. And I've already beat every character. You can play online versus people, but it's very weird. I was gonna get the Spider-Man game, and I just never did.
Highly recommend, by the way.
Oh, but I grew up playing all the games, like all of them.
Well,
and then my wife has the Nintendo Switch or whatever.
Oh, nice, very nice.
So once in a while, we would get on and play old school Mario on that. But I used to be big into games, and then the older I've gotten, the less it becomes. Used to be big
Yeah.
Call of Duty guy, huge.
Hmm.
I'm the one that would stand in line on the Thursday nights to go get the game or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's I mean, I've heard, there's midnight releases technically still that I've heard, but they're not big anymore. Of course, you
No,
know.
that was Xbox 360 days where
Right.
we would run to Walmart as soon as it was out in college and go grab it, and you just played for days and days and days.
Oh sure, sure thing.
Or Fortnite when it first came out years ago, like that one, played it forever. The original Zombies on Call of
Yeah.
Duty was like the best.
I just actually, I no joke, I just played that on World at War a few weeks ago because I picked up a fat PlayStation 3 with the backwards
Uh-huh.
compatible stuff, and I
Uh-huh.
actually that was the first game I wanted to pop in because I love World at War. That was like my favorite COD besides Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, Modern Warfare 2. Oh,
Like, and I know that they got the new rehash, but no. Modern Warfare 2, 09 online lobbies with that stuff. That's the best online experience in COD I've ever had, besides maybe Black Ops 1.
was it Modern Warfare 3? That was good too.
Modern Warfare 3 was solid. I remember having some good memories of Modern Warfare 3. I'm not gonna lie.
Because I think that's when I first got into Call of Duty was the end of 2 and then into 3.
Yeah. Modern Warfare 2 was my first, and I remember begging my mom on at a 4th of July party to let me buy it because she was very stickler about rated M for mature at that time. And I was like just getting into like late, I think it was like 8th grade or like freshman year of high school. And she finally caved. And so, like, first thing I did when I had the money was went and bought MW2. My God. Peak memories right there, gaming as a teen.
Yeah, I don't think my parents cared too much.
You do you, man. Good for you.
Well, like playing PlayStation, I think there was a game called Driver, maybe.
Hmm.
Got to run people over and stuff. That was like the first.
Driver's pretty dope. That was a good PlayStation 1 series.
What else was there? Oh, I remember PlayStation, and then we had the Grand Theft Auto,
Yeah.
like one of the originals.
Oh yeah,
Right.
like the top down perspective.
I don't think my parents knew what it was. We started playing. They're like, "Oh," and it was too late. It was like, "Well, he's playing." It's like, "Well, he's playing it, so it's too late for that."
Yeah. Oh yeah. I my brother actually got in trouble as a kid for going over to his friend's house specifically to play San Andreas. My
Ooh,
mom found that out, and
yeah.
she's like, "Well, he can't just do that, you know." And it's like, "Yeah, I won't." And then, like, the more you think about it, you're like, "How are you gonna say no? Like, how are you gonna know that's you're gonna just not do that over their place? You know what I mean?" I just, as a kid, it didn't make sense. And then more think about it, like right now, like thinking back, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what my mom was thinking with that game plan with my brother.
Yeah, it's like
He
you're
was
just not
gonna
allowed
go
to go
back
over
over
there.
and play GTA with his buddy. We didn't own it as a kid. She wasn't gonna let us own that. So
So what were you gonna do? Like, you're not allowed to go over that kid's house?
no, I think she just knew she couldn't. And I know my brother went back a few more times, but like I just remember her getting mad at my brother for playing San Andreas at my buddy's or at his buddy's house. And just like it just was like a weird frustration with it. It's like, oh, you can't win because you're over another parent's letting you play it, you know?
Uh, oh my god, I just had a game in my head, and I can't remember. Oh, I remember. It was a GoldenEye for Nintendo 64. That was the best.
Yeah.
I remember when that came out as a kid, 'cause I keep forgetting I'm so much older than you. Like, when that came out, whoo!
Yeah, no, I mean you're a little bit different generation in age based on what we've talked, because like I grew up with like my first console was like the tail end of the PS1. I got like my first when I was like 5 or 6, and then got a PS2 a few years later as a kid.
Oh yeah, I grew up with the original, or my parents had the original Atari, like
Oh.
original. Then you had the regular Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
When Super Nintendo came out, forget about it. It was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Then 64 came out, and we thought that blew everybody's mind. And then PlayStation 1 came out. Uh, then we thought PlayStation 2 was the cream of the crop. Like, oh, this is it. Uh, Sega, remember that one? And
Yeah.
then,
Well, let me ask though, which one did you play? Dreamcast, Genesis,
yep,
Saturn?
yes, yes,
Hmm,
all of it.
nice.
Because it was never like like somebody in the neighborhood would have like a console. So like my house, we had the Nintendo's, PlayStation 2. Somebody else's house might have the Sega Genesis or something, and uh, then somebody else got the GameCube when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then a buddy got the 360, and then that's where the paths came, where it was like, do you go PlayStation 3 or do you go Xbox 360?
Oh
Which
yeah.
lane do you go in? And I was a PlayStation guy until that moment. Everybody around me was getting 360, so I was like, "Mom, 360." And
I I was very close as a kid. What actually sold me was I didn't want to buy the Xbox Live subscription out of my pocket as a
that's
teenager,
yep.
and because my parents weren't going to do it, of course. And so I ended up sticking with PlayStation. And here's the kicker: I had my buddy convince me to get a PS3, like to reiterate it, because I was already on the fence about it anyway, and he convinced me to do it. Like he's like, "This thing's great. The graphics are awesome. And there's some great games." I buy my PlayStation 3. Within a month of me owning this, he buys an Xbox 360 and then proceeds to not really at all play his PS3 ever again. So like the one freaking friend I had that I could have played online regularly in town with proceeds to bail on me and then go play with my buddies that had Xboxes anyway. It's
Mhm.
just like it was just like just a big fuck you to me.
Well, that's what happened to me when I got the 360. I had like a couple friends that were like, "Well, we're getting PS3," and I'm like, "Okay." I was in college. I was like, "There's people here at 360." Like, whatever. Um,
And now I own a 360 too, by the way, because as you know, I collect. It's a great console. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I've been a Sony guy all my life. Like I just basically have stuck with that since, you know.
well, my parents would always buy the year Xbox Live for Christmas, so every Christmas was like, "Hey, this is your Christmas
Oh,
present."
it's
Like,
perfect. Yeah.
I never had to worry about that. Um, and then it's funny because then I got the Xbox One, then COVID hit, and everybody during COVID was playing the 360 college football games as like a way to cope with being inside.
Yeah.
My 360 had the red ring, so like I didn't have
Ooh.
one. So I found a buddy that was like, "Hey, give me $20 and I'll mail it to you." So during COVID, I spent $20, got it, and started playing all the.
No freaking way. Really?
So down here in the basement's the Xbox One and 360 down in the basement. Upstairs is the PlayStation 5.
That's pretty cool that
And
you
in the
did that.
basement, there's the PC that I haven't turned on in like a year.
Yours is a gaming PC, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably at least dust that out if it's been a year, you know.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
I know, I know. I also am speaking as a guy that's still very much a available bachelor. A little different.
Well, that's the thing. I got it, started to play it. Then you get pregnant, and then everything just kind of, for
Mhm.
good things, like it just changes. Now, when he's older, then I can start. Just have to buy my time.
Yeah. Oh
Or like
yeah.
I'm on spring break, so last night they went to bed and I played PlayStation for like 45 minutes. Like, here we go.
Yeah, and that's something I've read with like parents of this is like, and you probably are living through this. Like you just find little chunks to enjoy, you know.
Well, if I had to go to work, I wouldn't have done it. I'd be like, bed, here we go. I'm going to bed. But when you don't have to go to work, like the only thing I had today was podcasts. I was like, well, I can stay up and
Oh yeah,
like even after this, when we're done here, I can go right up there and play because I don't have to do anything until dropping him off at 9:30.
oh yeah. Knowing me, I'm gonna probably play a little bit of that Jack and Daxter. Got to finish that up, hopefully before the end of my weekend.
Well, I'm about to take over my wife's Switch because they came out with like the old Pokemon games. I was like, we have to get them, and you're going to give me that thing. And she's like, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she played what's that game? Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, big Animal Crossing fan. She is.
She is. Especially when she was pregnant, that's what she did.
Mm-hmm.
We even took her into the hospital, and she was just.
That's good comfort food, you know. They got a game called Pokepedia that my buddy says, or the ref says actually is like Pokemon meets Animal Crossing.
Oh, it's not
Uh,
Pokemon Go on your phone where you try to catch.
no, I don't know how to explain it besides that because I haven't played much Animal Crossing, but apparently it's like all the rage right now in terms of like Nintendo games. So yeah, that's a thing.
What?
Although it's for Nintendo Switch 2, so got to put a pause on that if you don't have that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, and Guitar Hero. I still have my PlayStation. I still have.
Oh, do you still play Guitar Hero?
Oh yeah, that's what's down here. So down here in the basement, I can see it. Xbox One and 360 are next to each other. Then on the shelf above, it's the PS2.
Nice.
Still have
Very
the
nice.
PS2. It's on its last leg though. Sometimes it won't open.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. Because I'm getting more involved with that probably just means you need like a new gear
Need a
on
new
it.
gear, and then one of the I have two controllers.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, the stick isn't working right, and I'm like, well, I don't blame you. You're old, but yeah, Guitar Hero is down here.
Nice.
And the thing I
Very
found with
nice.
Guitar Hero, again, COVID popped this bad boy out. Like I went to my parents' house, I was like, it's somewhere here. Brought it home. I forgot how dizzy it can make you if you haven't played it in 15 years. Because I remember playing it, hand it over, and I look at and I'm looking at like our table. The table's just like doop, doop, doop. And I'm like, all right, I'm done playing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all down here. All there's like 4 stacks of games over there.
Yeah, I've been most of today actually reorganizing because I bought maybe I went a little too crazy buying Atari cartridges for 2600. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I've been like reorganizing that most of the day. I'm almost done, but it's a lot. I got a box right next to me of like probably easily 100 plus carts alone, and that doesn't include the cartridges I'm keeping in the living room that I want to play like whenever. So
Um,
yeah, it's went a little crazy there on that.
yeah, I don't. When I went back to PS5, everybody's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, might as well."
Might as well. Yeah.
I think it was because there was like games just for PS. I don't know. There was some reason why. I think I was tired of Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Xbox as of late's not exactly been killing it or
Well,
whatnot. So
I think that was the thing is that they were killing it, and it was just the PS3 for the longest time, and then they had the PS4, and then they were like, "Well, wait a minute. Well, if we do Xbox One?" and with the storage it had on it and stuff like that, it was just dominating. And then
Mhm.
the problem is that they just constantly were like, "Well, now you gotta get this, now you gotta get this," and PS is like, "You don't have to do that with us." So, and I think the PS is just simpler. I think Xbox is kinda like iPhones, or, Xbox is kinda like Samsung phones, and then the PlayStation is like iPhones. It's like, "Hey, we're super simple over here."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I remember having the iPhone 5 and 6. Then my wife switched to, like, a Samsung one, and I was like, "Oh, I like it." So we were Samsung for the longest time, and then she went back to iPhone, like, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe.
Mhm.
So then this 2 years ago, I went back to iPhone, and I may never go back. It's just simpler.
Yeah. I still can't break Android. That being said, though, I am now a MacBook guy,
Nice. That's what
which
this is.
the thing that changed it for me and what really sold me is, yeah, I'm paying more, but I have seen firsthand the reliability of those things and like how long they last and how fast they are over time. It can't be beat, and it's also the better of the two editing, which I've gotten a lot more into editing, like as like a side hustle in the last like few 2 years. So if I'm gonna have a laptop that's on the go for stuff I need, it just makes more sense.
That's what
Yeah.
happened to me. Um, my wife had one, and it lasted her, like, 8 years, and it got through her through college. It got her through, like, her last year or 2 of high school, got her all through college and even after, so it was put to the works, and and she's like, "Steve, you keep buying a new laptop every, like, year or 2 because something happens." And so, like, 2 years ago, maybe, I was like, "Okay, let me just." I had an iPhone, I actually have an Apple credit card through iPhone, and so when I went in, they were like, "Oh, because you have all this, we'll give you a discount and a payment plan on this MacBook."
Hmm.
Best decision of all time.
Nice.
And I delete
Absolutely.
everything, so podcast stuff's on here, I delete it, and it stores everything, it puts every storage back up, and that's what this is. I just have a cover, but, like, it's the best.
Hmm.
And I've had no internet problems, like, when I would have an HP one, even though we had good Wi-Fi, there was always something. With this, I don't. Like, there's never a problem. And you don't have to pay for, uh, uh, spy software.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Actually can't think of the last time I've actually bought antivirus software.
I had to when you have, like, the HP computers, but this one you don't. It's Apple.
Yeah, it's got its own built-in stuff. Very secure. That's what they always say, right?
Well, and if it's connected to your phone here, I can send text messages while I'm on here, like, boot it, like, it's just we may never go back.
That I can hear Tim Cook already. Yes, we've converted another.
Oh, he's listening.
Keep bringing more. Have the believers bring in new non-believers.
"Hey, Tim Cook, I'm not gonna do that for you unless you pay me, so if you're
Yeah,
listening if you're listening, you send me $1,000 a week, I'll convert people."
yeah. Let's get a rate going first. Then we'll talk.
But I do like the new Samsung phones, like, the new one they have out looks really nice. Somebody at work had the flip one, so it could, like, flip over and be this
I
huge screen. Those are
do
nice.
I do like the look of those, especially how now is more convenient for your pocket or all that. So that's pretty neat. Um, yeah, I got a note, but like I was tempted on getting the flip last time I bought a phone a few years ago.
Yeah, somebody at work had it, and I was like, "Oh, that was the only time I thought about it." I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll go back because that looks awesome."
Hmm. Oh yeah, but no, Apple's always a winner, man. Can't go wrong with Apple.
Alright, man, I kept you on here long enough. I didn't realize. I was like,
Kept here
"Oh,
long enough is funny. We
shit."
need, we need to catch up. That's how I call it. It's catching up.
I just looked at it. I
Good.
was like, "What time is it?" Oh my god.
Yeah, it's getting a little late for you. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's
But
9:40. Usually I'm asleep by now.
well, hey, look at it this way. We've been needing to catch up. Um, hopefully next time won't be as long a trek, but you never know. And then I guarantee you and I will chat about post draft because I mean, like for football wise, because I mean that's Bears got some holes in the secondary to fill, man. That's
They have holes there. They have to find a D line.
yep. Still gotta figure
Uh,
that out too. D line and the other edge positions still.
they
You know,
replaced their center very quickly.
they did do that, thank God. You know,
DJ
so
Moore is now a Bill.
that was the trade was coming. I just didn't know when, and it happened. But yeah,
No, you hated to see him go, but they had to. I told somebody this. I said the reason why he was getting paid all that money was because at the time he was what, an 900 yard receiver, so they had to
yes.
do that.
I mean, the value made sense then, but clearly sign of the times.
Sign of the times, offense change. You get different younger players. Yeah, you hate to see him go. But man, the Bills just got a steal too. That's the other thing that sucks.
Yes, they did. Yeah, that they did. I mean, we did get I think we got relatively decent compensation back, all things considered. But I mean, compared to what the Bills are going to do with him, compared to what we were going to do with him, I think they did get a nice deal for that for DJ Moore.
Oh, for sure. What we want to do on offense and what was going to happen. He's better with the Bills than he is with the Bears, which sucks because you paid him when he was that big time receiver, but the Bears were also not winning games. And then I also think they realized he wasn't the same as that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He had a couple questionable plays where he kind of gave up running at times too. So it was like, hey, like, might as well get these younger guys built up, draft some younger guys, get another wide receiver in free agency, something for less money. Send some of that money to the defensive side. Now that's kind of what I think they're doing.
Yes, please. Just fill holes. I mean, they need to fill holes ASAP.
I think that's what they're doing. I think that's what they're leaning towards is let's get some D linemen and some secondary, and we'll fill in the linebacker spot when needed, but we need some big guys up front.
Yeah.
Because they have the O-line taken care of. They need another running back, I think, too, but that's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, hey, never know. But yeah, defensive priority 100% has to come first. So,
Oh, they better. If they don't, I'm going to be irate.
I mean, if they don't, holy crap.
If they don't, they better score 45 points a game.
Sprint to the finish line every week, nonstop.
Because we can't score 20 points a game and expect to win.
No, no, sirree. I hope we don't. I hope that's not the reality. I don't need that to be my reality.
And if you're going to play in Indiana, you better be ready to go.
Well, of course.
Oh, sorry. Last thing. Last thing before we jump off.
Sure.
How does it feel to be from Indiana and the Indiana Hoosiers being a national champion?
Oh my God. I cried tears of joy when they won, Steve. I really did. I have not been as animated into a game and felt like a fan like that in a while. And it felt so good. I'll tell you. And even better, knowing that I got to see part of that journey along the way when I watched them kick Alabama's ass in the Rose Bowl. That I was getting to watch that in person and also experience the Rose Bowl, which, my God, Pasadena and the Rose Bowl. Oh, that is a football haven. That is a marquee place to go visit.
So you tell me this. When I was growing up, and I'm way older than you, but when I
Mhm.
was growing up, it was funny. It was always Illinois versus Indiana, right? Like the Hoosiers, not just sports, but like a state. Like if you're in Indiana, you're a Hoosier. I remember my dad saying, "Oh, those are Hoosiers," like not sports related, but like Hoosiers.
Yeah.
The older I got, I realized I don't think there's a big rivalry between the teams as much. Like it's not like this.
Nah.
It always seemed like Illinois and Northwestern were like a bigger thing, or uh, Illinois and like another team that's not Indiana.
I
But
would
I never.
say I'd say you'd be right. Um, like there's definitely a rivalry. I think a little bit between Illinois and Indiana, the state conversation. If you're like resident, but school wise, I don't think that really exists.
So there's been moments like in basketball. There's been a couple moments where like I feel like it was more basketball than it was like football, like because
That
Indiana's a
could be.
basketball state, so I think that's kind of where that is. Um, but anyway, my point is, you never root for Indiana in anything, like no sport. When the Colts beat the Bears, even like that kind of added to it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
the Pacers and Bulls had their little thing, so it was always kind of like I think that's where that stems from. I was actually rooting for Indiana, and the reason why I say that is because the older I've gotten and the more I've done this, I'm a fan of coaches. So I look at coaches and the way Kirk Cinetti just has done this so quickly. I was like, they kicked Illinois' ass. So I got really upset about that. But I was like, Big Ten, and I like Kirk Cinetti when he's not going against Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's go. Like, and break. And I saw in like the drought, like Indiana's thing. I was like, just break the drought. You're the losingest program. Like, break it. And so it was.
It was just a dream season, man. I mean, they kicked ass when they needed to. The memorable Penn State finish was wonderful,
I was
and
watching
then
that game and I'm like, oh my god.
I know, dude, I could not believe that game. And then freaking, going through and just annihilating some blue blood competition on the way to really a thriller against Miami of Ohio, because you knew going in there was no way they were going to have 3 straight blowouts. They were going to have to, the Hollywood ending. You overcome adversity against your toughest opponent, you
Mhm,
know?
mhm.
And sure enough, it had to be Miami, had to be another blue blood, a team that hasn't been there in a minute, a team that had one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the country in this position as well. And a defense that was hell bent on stopping Indiana on what it did best in running on the ground to open the pass. And they found opportunities. And then the freaking just Mendoza was just muscling his way on a 4th down to a touchdown to extend the lead to keep things ahead. Was just cinema. That is sports cinema at its finest, along with IU being a national championship winner and being at one point the losingest FBS program in the country. You know,
Well, also doing it with a bunch of 3 stars. I
that
think
too.
that's what I respected was
You just throw that on the pile as well. It shows that good recruiting and a good system can make guys shine more than just their overall talent on a recruiting sheet or a scout sheet.
right, right, and I think that's why I like Kirk Cinetti was like, what, he's in his 60s, and he's like, this is his first Division I head coaching job,
Yeah.
um, and just how he built it and was like, "I'm gonna do it my way, and it's good. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work." But, you know, it just hurt to root for them because they did kick Illinois' ass for the past 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, they did, but I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you right now, though, like you said at the beginning, and I'll say this now, like Illinois even is in the best position they've been in a long time, consistently, even in the football program. Will they match that success? I have no idea, but, you know, that's the best they've been since, like you talked about, since the mid 2000 or late 2000s.
Yeah,
So
this stretch is the best stretch since the '07 and between '07 and 2011.
mhm.
Um, we even beat Baylor and RG3 in a bowl game, like back in the day with
Yeah.
Nathan Shieldhouse as quarterback. And, I think the frustrating part for Illinois compared to everybody else is we've produced some NFL players. We just never had like the seasons. Like Rashard Mendenhall was on that '07 team.
Yep.
Um,
How could you
Aurelius
forget?
Aurelius Ben went to the NFL. He's a big tight end, wide receiver. Nathan or Shieldhouse. Oh my God, what was his name? Running back. He went to Detroit. Starts with an
Uh,
L.
L.
I'm gonna look it up. Oh, LaShore. That's it. LaShore.
Oh my
Michael.
God. I haven't heard that name in forever.
He went to Illinois. He got drafted in 2011. So like stuff like that. Always had players like that. That go to the NFL. The New York Giants when they won the Super Bowls, their offensive line they had two guys from Illinois, stuff like that. So there was always pieces. But you finally have a head coach that could put the pieces together and like have winning seasons. Because people don't remember this because I'm old. Ron Zook was the head coach of Illinois for some of this.
Mm-hmm.
He could recruit players. There was no question that like he could recruit players. It was the coaching of like winning games. Like I think he was because he was the head coach at Florida before Urban Meyer, and Ron Zook initially is the one that opened the door for Tim Tebow.
Oh,
And then Urban Meyer came in and closed it, but like the original talk was Ron Zook before.
Hmm.
And some of the players that were on Florida's team that when Urban Meyer showed up, Ron Zook recruited there. So like he can recruit. It was
yeah.
just he couldn't seal the deal.
What could have been, And shoot, the resources now where it's like open season on like as long as you have the money, imagine that would have helped too.
Well, and I think in Indiana and Illinois, they both have created a culture where people stay. I don't think Indiana really lost people in the transfer portal that much. Illinois really doesn't either. They lose a couple, obviously. Like Illinois' quarterback, he was offered money from Tennessee, like a lot of money, and Luke Altmaier, and he said no. He was like, "I trust Brent Bielema. Like he has my back." So, Bielema talks about when the season was over, this was happening. Luke Altmaier walked in his office and said, "Listen, what are we going to do to make the team better? Like, we have to get what are we going to do?" So there was no question like he was leaving. He was like, "What are we going to do to get us better?" Stuff like that. And I think Indiana's the same. They didn't really lose a whole lot besides graduation, NFL draft, stuff like that.
Now they're pretty much in reload now, and IU has and this is something that people seem to forget. They have such a huge alumni base to pull from. I mean,
you didn't know because they weren't winning.
Well, yeah, but like, I don't know. I feel like in a modern day where we talk about like funds and schools that have the funding, kind of surprising that I was actually surprised the people that didn't realize or didn't like take a second glance to look,
Well, who was on my podcast earlier went to BYU. BYU actually has one of the deepest pockets.
And that explains a lot why they are now back in being a consistent threat in the top 25.
Yeah, there's some schools you didn't realize had pockets. Like I forgot Mark Cuban went to Indiana. Like
and he is a big fan of the football program as well. Honestly, kind of wish he would focus back on the basketball program because they have it feels like that's taken a back seat and they can't get themselves out of the dungeon that's been the post Tom Crean, whatever the hell this is, And that's saying something given Tom Crean was only somewhat successful at IU. He was barely successful.
Yeah.
By IU standard. So
but there's some schools that have money that you didn't realize and that you didn't realize had the money. And then there's some schools that have money that aren't using it.
That
either.
too. Yeah.
Because I forgot Indiana had money until the stuff happened. Um, Illinois has some money, but like you don't hear about it until the boosters come in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't know BYU had that type of money until it was shown to me. Um,
Texas Tech, that's another one.
they have money.
They have money. they got dough, man. I mean, they got
Well, we
dough.
all knew Texas had money, but like Texas Tech, you didn't
Mhm.
realize has money.
They have money.
But then you hear about like Florida, they should have money, but you don't know. Florida State should have money, but they
Yep.
don't. Um,
I thought Alabama would, but they seem to be also a little more stressed than others.
I actually knew that they really didn't.
Ah.
I was like, they really don't. Like they do, but they don't.
Mm.
You thought Duke would have more money as well.
Yeah.
You thought Maryland would have more money with the
Yeah,
Under Armour stuff.
I would think so too. That'd be Rutgers, I would think, would have more possibly as well, right? I mean,
And you thought Nebraska would too.
same. Yeah. That's one of the most loyal alumni base that's one of the most loyal alumni bases in the country too. Is Nebraska.
I even thought Purdue would, being a big engineering and like people leaving. Like you would think that. So there's some schools that, and maybe they'll come out of the woodwork if they start winning games. Like Illinois has kind of, their boosters have come out a little bit now that Bielema's kind of established. I
Yeah.
think that's why Indiana, you're figuring out, has money because they won last year and are winning this year. Because people don't want to spend money if they're not winning.
Right. Well, and hey, now that you're national championship contender, now you bring that just helps even more so with I don't even need to hardly recruit. Now I can just have 5 stars that are curious in the school alone, you would think. And so, yeah, you're still going to compete with them Iowa States or Michigans or, whatever, because of like, they are blue blood brands that draw attention, but you have a national championship under your belt as a coach. I mean, that makes things way easier to be taking any risk in quotation marks on a school in Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah. Or I always thought UCLA would have a lot of money.
Same. Although they, my understanding, because I've been reading up on this whole Rose Bowl situation with them, because UCLA trying to leave to go to SoFi, they apparently have deficits in their athletic department. So they're not exactly in the best financial state right now, nor is Rutgers. Actually, fun fact, they have apparently Rutgers, they've reported this year, has never turned a profit in their athletic department since joining the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that too.
So kind of makes you think,
That makes you think. And the reason, and Penn State too. BYU has more money than Penn State, believe it or not.
That is crazy, but again, I think at some point it comes down to who is the alumni, who is making these boosters as well. That helps. So
Well, our running backs coach played football at Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a little bit of insight. He's not a big time donor or anything like that, but um, he said like they need more money in order to keep up with the Ohio States of the world, and
Right.
like Oregon has unlimited pockets.
It's freaking easily. Yeah.
That's why I thought Maryland would, with the Under Armour, have like unlimited pockets. But again, I think it's because they're not really winning. If they were winning, but like it's a weird thing. If you put more money in, they might win games. But
Yeah.
do you want to give them money if they're not winning games?
Tough question indeed.
And that's what's happened with Alabama. So then it becomes, does Auburn have that money? It becomes Oklahoma. Like, what kind of money are you pumping out? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Michigan, we know, has deep pockets.
Yeah, absolutely do. Although, honestly, thank God they got Winningham, because they just need to get back on track, get through the chaos. Hopefully, the last bit of chaos that is from the cheating scandal era, and just get to the next phase with Kyle Whittingham.
I think
where
it's already
it's.
happening. I
I
think
mean, I think so too. They really got past Sharon Moore like really quick, and kind of swept that to the courts. Like, look, we're disassociating, we're out. But like, I just hope that that cycle's almost done because it feels like that has been dragging for so long now. You
I
know,
think it already has. They were talking about how he's running practice and the program, and it's already like completely different. So
yeah,
I think they've turned a corner there.
I think so. I mean, honestly, Utah alone, and I actually have a friend. I actually have a friend at work who's a big Utah guy. Um, he made it sound like Whittingham's retirement was more forced
Yeah.
than
Yep.
actually a retirement, which explains a lot why he went to Michigan because I don't think he
Yeah.
wanted to leave Utah.
No, I think they didn't want to fire him either. I think they were like, "Hey, you've done a lot for us,
Yeah,
so
because
it's time to pay."
he was saying they had like a secession plan already in place, and that it was kind of like, hey, we kind of want to activate this before it gets too late, and basically made it sound like he was just wanting to step aside, and then now it makes sense why he's like, I actually not retired. I want to go. I'll do Michigan now. I got the right deal.
Right. I think that's exactly what because people don't retire and then like a week later, like, just
Yeah.
kidding.
At that point, you were just biding your time, and you already had a parachute. You know.
Yeah, or it was like, hey, if there's no job I like, I will take a year off and then come back.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
stuff like that. Um, all right, man. Thanks for coming back. Been a while, long episode, but you know, we
It's
said it
just
was
been
Joe
good.
Rogan style.
It's just been good to catch up. That's what's nice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming back, guy.
No problem, guy. Always a good time, guy.